We just finished recording episode one and we're already breaking the rules. I'm going to do a quick addendum to the first episode, to episode one, and we're going to call it episode 1.5. And here, real quick, I'm going to keep it as short as possible. We reviewed the dynamic calendar in episode one, and I showed the reporting flags as part of that dynamic calendar. I do want to walk you through why those reporting flags are important and show them in use. So let's go back to the model, building in public, and specifically we're looking at the reporting calendar flow we created. Okay, and I think the easiest way to do this is just jump right into the function. For each, remember, so this function only supports, it generates labels for fiscal quarter, half, and year for each month. All right, so we're taking in a date, and then this function says, when you tell me a date, and reminder, we're not using this yet. When you take in a date, we're going to output, this function actually outputs 6 values. By the way, a formula in a spreadsheet just outputs 1. In this function here, we're outputting 6. So we've got January 24. Obviously that's 24 Q1. This is a custom labeling system I created. I did create it so that it's automatically sorts in chronologically in a pivot table. So 24 Q1, 24 Q2, and then H1, and then the year. So if you go to April, right, obviously it's going to change to Q2 and so forth. Okay, you guys are going to work on submitting something to make this work for non-calendar fiscal years. But why are these? You can see how this is important. For each month, we're going to output some columns. Actually, we can just look at the test data, right? We talked about this before. So for January, here's the quarter, half year. But what are these reporting flags for? So they're BS beginning, which is clearly balance sheet beginning, balance sheet end, and reporting flag IS, which is income statement. Let's go over a specific example real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. This is a schedule in the headcount model, and it's a roll forward schedule. It's showing in 24 Q4. I mean, personally, I love roll forward schedules. They help you understand the activity in the period. So in the quarter, you started with 3 people, you added 2, no one termed or transferred, and then you have 5. This is a pivot table, and then you start with 5 the next quarter and roll forward. Okay, this is great. Now, one of the advantages of working in Numbrz is that we're reading and writing data from spreadsheets and looking at this dashboard specifically. We can look at the data set. I'm trying to think how the best way to do this. Well, let's just go back to the pivot table. But in this roll forward schedule, I might want to look at it annually, or I might want to look at it, monthly. And so the way we, going back the data that we're outputting here, we are outputting, well, let's just do this. I'm trying to keep this short, but okay, let's go to the schedule we want, which is the headcount schedule. So I'm writing multiple schedules to this one data set, and I'm using this tab as the database. So for the headcount schedule here, baseline scenario, here's my metrics beginning. Oh, here we just go here. Beginning adds terms. This column is for metrics. Here's my amount. Here's for the month, quarter, half, and year. So clearly, here's the values coming from that reporting calendar. But here, I just only have one column called reporting flag. And notice how the value changes over time. So if it's April 24, it's month and, well, this metric specifically is month and quarter. But then you can see here month beginning changes to month. So this value is dynamic. Let's just start with that. Okay, that's the data. What do we do with it and why is it important? So again, we're in the roll forward schedule. We're looking at this quarterly. Let's say one of the advantages of having pivot tables is that if you have the right data, you can report this differently. So let's do a couple things here. Let's look at this monthly. Like I might want to drill in. So I'm going to take out columns for quarter. I'm going to throw in months. Now I am filtering this one schedule on this concept called, on this field called reporting flag. Let's just delete that out. And now I'm just looking at the schedule data. So I'm looking at everything and this works right here, right? 3 into 3, 3, 1, 4, right? So now I'm looking at all records. However, you can't just take this data right here and say, I want to summarize it by quarter, because in a pivot table, it's summing. So what you could see, I'll just show you what's going to happen. If you go back and try to present that data by quarter, it's going to triplicate. You want to you want to sum the 3 months of the activity in the middle, but your beginning in Q2 should be April, not April, May, and June. And then your ending in Q2 should be June, not April and May. And so that's what's happening right here is we're triplicating. We're including 3 months here when we should be including one. Well, how do you solve that? I want to use one data set for the schedule. I want to be able to pivot on this by month, quarter, half, year. I mean, that's really powerful. One data set to pivot by all four. The answer is you create a new column, which is that column there called reporting flag. And then you have one additional thing. Once you change your quarters or your columns reporting aggregation, you're going to need to select, in this case, quarter. So I'm looking for any value here that contains the word quarter. So this is month, quarter, half, year. There's one month that has that. I'm going to turn off month only. I want to keep that. I'm going to keep that one. The moment we do that, you can see now we're rolling forward right. 3, 2, 5, 5, 3, 8. Start with 8. Okay. We'll wrap this up here, but to drive this home, if we now kept this correct filtering, but additionally changed the column header to months instead of quarter, this is going to give you the visibility to see what's actually happening. So this is what the data that's being filtered to include this for the schedule. All of April, I want all of it. I start with 3, I want that, and I want these activities, and it sums up to 0. Why is that? Oh, right. Sorry, this value I don't want because I don't want ending headcount in April. Okay, there you go. Then I want the activity for May and June, and then I want just the ending headcount for June. So you can see here, same thing for July, just the beginning and all the activity for these months here, or sorry, here, and then just the ending amount. Okay, so this is what's happening with the filter, and what enables that is the logic that we're generating here in the reporting calendars. So more on this later. Super powerful. Once I figured out how to create this, it solved a ton of problems. So now I can create any kind of roll forward schedule I want. ARR, users, people, you name it. So again, roll forward schedules are really powerful with just by reusing this reporting generating calendar labels function to generate a table and then later just do a lookup on my monthly forecast. All right, great stuff.